Just hopped out the truck, Bill.
Just jumped up the truck.
I know.
Yeah, I was like, nah, I want to go home. I was like, nah, I ain't want to be late. I said, I'm going to slide up here.
It's all good. Well, like everybody rolling out, so they about to come back. Y'all ready to stop?
Yeah. He cried, but
All right, everybody. We only got a little bit for the pizza and all that stuff comes. Then we can politic. But my man Bill come. He is. How long you been in trucking?
It's actually my second time in truck. My first time was in 2011.
You was in it before?
Yeah, I had dump
CDL?
trucks and roll-off trucks. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't have a CDL. I just owned trucks.
Right. How many trucks you on now?
I be selling them.
Yeah.
So I probably got like 5. Like between like 3, because some of them I don't count because they not even operable.
Yeah. That's I wish the guy was here with the dreads and the flannel. How long was it? Well, first off, what made you get back in the trucking coming from the dump trucks in 11? And what made you want to go and get this actual CDL and then start driving now?
Long story short, that journey came from maybe getting trucking before was just, I was just like anybody else, probably mostly jumping in trucking. I was a little bit in the streets young, so I started dump trucks because of my brother, he was more close. My father really, like, that's his lane, the roll-offs and dump trucks. But I never really like grew up close to him, so I knew a little bit, but I ain't know a lot. My brother was like more closer to him. He the junior, so he knew a little bit more, and our connection was a little bit better. So I was a little bit in the streets, and just being a little young rebel, trying to stay away from my family. You know how it be. But anyway, he came to me one day. I had a couple dollars or whatever, and he was like,
What area, in case they don't know?
What?
What area you from?
I'm from West Baltimore.
Okay.
So anyway, he came to me one day and was like, bro, what you think about, grabbing roll-offs and dump trucks, and we can like run the loads for our father or whatever. So I was like, shit, I'm with it, and I'm just like, I'm a type of person that is like, I don't have a limitation on what I do to get some money. I mean, I ain't doing no like gay shit or no like sell my soul type stuff, but I mean, I'm a hustler, like all around hustler. You got some hustlers that are like, I ain't doing that shit. Nah, if it sounds intriguing to me and it makes sense and I can make some money, I'm gonna try it. So I tried it, Me being young, I tried it in the wrong way, probably for the wrong motivations. I was chasing money, and I was young, and I was more exposed to street stuff. So in the streets, when you getting money, you try to look like money. So that's what I was doing. Instead of paying more attention to my business, I was spending more time like really like enjoying the money. So that kind of caused for one of my business to fail for real, because I didn't really know too much about the business. That was my dump truck and roll-off truck business. Okay. And just doing business with the wrong people. Like my opinion, when you're gonna do business with somebody, y'all gotta develop a relationship of trust for one.
I agree.
Y'all gotta have the same mental, because if you don't have the same mental, it's just like y'all gonna be running spread apart. And when shit spread apart, it rip. So that's basically what happened to my company. I was doing business with people that all had 3 different types of mindsets. Me, I wanted to be young, hot, and slick in the streets, and that's what I wanted to look like. But whole time I wasn't handling my business like I was supposed to. So my business got overcome from the people that I was doing business with and myself. So I lost that business, fell into a little depression, you feel me? Found my way back into the streets or whatever.
Describe depression.
Depression. I remember the last day of my trucking company. My first truck broke down. Well, I had a lot of odds against
truck. We talking about dump trucks and roll-offs.
Yeah, dump trucks, like you dumping the dirts, the rocks, and the roll-off trucks. I was setting roll-off cans in front of people's houses that's doing like real estate, and they paying me to like get rid of the trash and debris and all that stuff like that. Like, I'm not touching nothing. I'm dropping a can, and you literally paying me to dispose of the stuff. I had several different contracts through like the work of my father, but I started like outreaching to find my own work
But
on my own.
The depression part. How
So the
you feel?
depression part came because, like I said, I wasn't that much experienced in it. First started, I learned that me and my brother couldn't do business because we had two different types of mindsets. My brother kind of get a little wrapped up more into his emotions and his relationship type of stuff, and it caused a lot of disagreements amongst us. He was stealing from me, and I didn't know it until I stopped. Yeah, my own brother. He was telling me I was spending like $300-400 a day on fuel. But while I'm running around, I had money, so this was just extra. It was just like, all right, make this work. This your part in our business. You make this work while I'm doing what I'm doing, and you do what you're doing. And then once it come together, then we take it to the next level. That was a wrong doing for me because my brother had a manipulative girlfriend, and she was like, "Oh, you working for your little brother? You a chump? You da 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 da." So that caused him to make him feel like he was entitled to the money that we're getting more than I was.
Side note. Keep these women out your business.
No question, for sure.
And some of them men too.
And it's not, we're not sexist. You got strong women, because I met women that got strong trucking company. No, listen, I met a woman, and I'm gonna get later on down to a lot. I had one of the biggest contracts I ever had, and I got it early into trucking. Once I moved on to trackless, I met a woman, and she said, I asked her how did she get where she was, and she said, I was talking to a guy, and he was in the trucking. He was teaching me everything I knew, and later on, I took what we knew, and we not together no more. But he respected my mind for where I was going at, and I turned up off of it. I got 5 trucks, I got 4 major contracts, and I'm like, yeah, I respect that. I respected that as her being a woman.
Now that's what you call choosing up.
Yeah.
So, which is a good thing. And we talked about the face of trucking changing. Now, I wasn't singling out women. Keep your partners out of your business if they ain't a part of it.
That's bad.
But you hear what he just said about his brother? You hear what he said?
That just go for anybody, family. If they not on the same tip as you, they just don't even share what's going on. You gotta talk your business with equal mindset people, because that's the only thing that's gonna help you go up. Anything else gonna help you, it's gonna frustrate you, it's gonna get you off track. It's just not gonna be beneficial.
And there's other things. There's times in trucking where it's gonna seem like all hell is breaking loose. And that's why I wanted to touch on the depression part, because you feel like
I'm gonna get to that though.
You feel like the world coming to an end.
So I'm gonna get to my depression part. My depression part, after I experienced all of these things, and I'm doing it by myself. My father was also a part of a person that was working against me. He was giving me my work, but he sold me my first truck too.
Your father did.
My father sold me my first truck. My first truck for $10,000. I told him I didn't want a dump truck. I wanted a roll-off truck because I knew there was more opportunity to do different stuff. He wanted to sell me what he could make money off of me for. So he sold me a dump truck that was a piece of shit. Like literally, I broke down every single day. He wouldn't let me touch it until I gave him all his money in full. He wasn't one of the ones like, let me see you grow, and as long as I see you trying, I'm gonna help you grow. Like when my truck broke down and I called him, he didn't come help. He didn't even tell me what I needed to do. I figured that all out on my own. And amongst arguing with my brother, going back and forth, my brother was the more hands-on type person, like knew how to fix certain stuff. So me and him worked it out to be able to continue to go. So amongst that, my depression came from my first, I had a dump truck. I came to my father's house one day. He was just bought a roll-off truck. And I'm like, nah, I want a roll-off truck. He like, well, slow down, let your first truck. I'm like, I'm not trying to hear nothing. I want the roll-off truck because I already know what I'm going to do. That's what I want. He's like, all right, I'm going to sell it to you. So he said he's going to sell it to me. He said, go get the money. I said, what I need? He said, $14,000. Straight ran, go grabbed it, came right back. I jumped in the car with him. He met my uncle at the gas station. He left me at one pump and jumped in the car with my uncle. Sold me a truck that he didn't even pay for yet. Made $4,000 extra off of me. I ran that truck for a while. The first truck that broke down was the dump truck. The DOT put me out of service, so I had to put that one to the side. I'm running a roll-off truck. And mind you, my father was giving me good work. I think I was only 18 years old, and I was making like $1,500, $2,000, $2,500 on a good day. I did not touch a truck. I didn't drive it. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, this was
I literally just ran around, picked up my paperwork,
just
turned it into my father, grabbed the money. So I'm like, this better than the streets.
Just for
that's legal.
Just for sake of clarity, this was a different time.
This was the different time.
If you're talking about 2011, 15.
Yeah, it was before 2011.
Right.
I didn't really start getting more into it until 2011. So that was before 2011. So I jumped out and actually so my depression went after all that thing happened. The first truck broke down. I had hired.
The reason I'm not. I know you in the front and it ain't out. Well, first off,
yeah, my mind's all over. The
right,
place,
but it's not only that. We need to talk about our downtime because when you keep negative in you, it's like cancer, and it starts to eat at you. But the reason why I wanted to talk about that is so y'all can see when shit seems like it's all over, you gotta keep going because it ain't but so much longer before the tables turn up now. At one point in time, it felt like it was over. It ain't never over till you did.
Visit that too. A lot of people think I'm up now. You get what I'm saying? Because they see
That ain't
materialistic stuff. You feel me? It's not up. It's never you really up. When you start thinking you up in business, that's when you fuck
That's
up
when
at.
it fell.
But
You ain't down in the dumpster where this is the end of my life.
No. But no, so get back to my depression. My second truck broke down because I hired a driver that wasn't doing what I asked him to do, and I didn't know about truck maintenance. I didn't know you had to change your oil in trucks. All my father ever told me was make sure oil is in it. So I had a major oil leak and I didn't know nothing but to put oil in it. So my drivers was coming to work late or whatever. So I told him like, no matter what time you get, just make sure it's oil in this truck. He got to work late one day, never checked the oil, just straight drove. The truck broke down by the end of the day and I was having a good day. He came in for a half a day. I was about to pay him for a full day. The truck broke down inside the tunnel. But because he was in the tunnel, he tried to start it again, but it had a safety feature where it cut it straight off if it's low on oil. So he tried to start it again, but when he tried to start it again, it's no oil, so it just tore all my gears up in the bottom and all that stuff like that. That's when my depression started, because it was like, damn, I took everything I had in this. I'm not fucking with no street stuff. I'm not doing nothing. I'm literally all in on this now. I just lost everything I had right before my birthday. And by this time, I'm about to turn 20 or 21, and I'm thinking I'm about to go to Vegas. I might rent the Lambo, and you think that's why my mind was at. But it was just like, when that happened, everything just went apart. And so I came to my father. I'm like, Dad, you the one that's paying me. Front me the money to get me a new engine, and just don't pay me nothing. Just make sure I get enough money to pay my driver. He told me I'm gonna think about it. The next day, he went and bought 4 dump trucks, 2 roll-off trucks, and 22 cans. I sat home in a depression for like 2 or 3 years. Like literally not doing nothing. I'm sitting in my sister's basement.
2 or 3
like
years?
Yeah, like probably like a year or 2. But I was like literally in a depression, like not knowing what I was gonna do. I was just like,
who was
damn.
the snap out at moment?
The hustle in me, the hustle in me.
It never dies.
Yeah, the hustle in me. It woke it back up. And like I said, I'm not trying to like influence street stuff on people, but that's just my experience. Out of a lot of my friends, I was the first one to jump out and like kind of really pack for pack. I'm selling drugs. Like a lot of people like ride around and sell drugs. I've done all of it. Like on the block, I done watched the block. I done bagged up. I done did all of it. But anyway, long story
Right,
short.
that's what I'm about to go into.
I apologize.
Yeah,
I
but and the reason why that's important is
it just got me a little emotion wrapped up.
and the reason why that's important, first of all, that was years.
I would never want to go back to it. Let me mind you that.
But for the record's sake, that was years ago.
Yeah.
The reason why
it was over.
The reason why that's important is because what I say earlier, same game, different things. The techniques and abilities he learned in that lifestyle would allow him to get into dump trucks, would allow him to get into tracks,
same
selling cars,
situation.
all different types of
cars
business.
too. Anyway, I'm sorry. So to jump past that, I tried the street stuff again, and then in the midst of the street stuff, of me going through ups and downs I was enjoying myself, but it was just like I felt trapped. Like I felt like, damn, I was never getting over the peak of where I really wanted to be at. Like I feel like I'm really better than like Why can't I own a multi-million-dollar company? Why can't I do this? Why can't I buy a Lamborghini? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So I met throughout in the streets, I met a guy that he had like 4 tractors. Like I said, I knew nothing about tractor trailers. He had 4 of them. He showed me the load board, and I'm like, damn, like this is how it go. And I really never understood the load board. So I had a new motivation then. So then I ran into another little situation in the streets, and I was just like, you know what? I had another child, so I was just like, you know what? I'm not really ready to deal with the circumstances what comes with street stuff, knowing that I got kids. You get what I'm saying? So I'm like, I want to walk away from that. I walked away from it, and I just went full blast on my truck. During this time,
You driving this time?
yeah, I was driving this time, so I had a permit. I did not have a CDL. My girlfriend had a CDL. She had a CDL like 4 years before she met me. Never did nothing with it. We just got together, and I was just like, how about I just buy the truck and you just ride with me, and we gonna run it up like that. You gonna start doing the paperwork, and I'm gonna do the truck stuff.
That's a good idea.
So it was good and it's bad, but I didn't get to know my relationship before I got that deep into trying to do business in it. So
Well, it ain't necessarily just the business. It's for the record, when you run teams, that's the best money you're gonna make off of one truck. But
she wasn't a driver.
there's no escape. The point I'm getting at, there's no escape from your co-driver. So if you living with somebody, y'all go to work, y'all hit and miss. When you in a truck, that's even worse than being a South Buddy, because South Buddies will have different jobs and programs. When you driving, the only time y'all separated is when you going to the bathroom. So it's literally 24 hours together. That's gonna test with the unknown gonna become known. So just be mindful of that before you try to go do things.
Right. Yeah, so that's what I anticipated. Well, I think I was gonna give her the confidence to want to learn how to drive. It was an automatic truck. Again, I tried it again. I bought a truck from my phone, $5,000 I spent on my first truck, and it was like
What year was this?
This was 28 when the pandemic started. 2020. So it was like towards the end of 2019. So I started off, I was running loads for him again, because his work always steady.
That's $5,000 I want y'all to see, because we got another person coming in that's in the 5 range. You saying the 10s, the 5s. Don't think you have to have $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to get started. That's not true.
My opinion on that, I jumped in the truck stuff cheap, but my opinion, I would at least have enough money to buy your truck and enough money for a safety cushion.
Right.
Or have like some lines of credit or some stuff like that. Like just jumping in with your last, it wasn't the best, because I say that because the equipment that I purchased equipment where it was like I was playing catch up with my trucks, because I elevated very fast. I came from that single axle truck to me buying a sleeper, then I bought a sleeper, then I caught a Costco contract.
How many trucks you go from in 1 year?
From 1 year, I went from 1 to 3.
Right, and then the second year?
In the second year, I went from 3 to 4, and then I had 7 owner operators running under my authority.
All right. So I'm pointing that out for him, so you can see how it's a scale, and then you got him as an example as well. You can get more trucks. It's not.
You can buy trucks all day long.
What's your opinion about drivers?
My opinion with drivers, I haven't been through
The
all
real
drivers.
deal about drivers.
So the real deal about drivers like consistency. So if you got like something like how Brian had, Byron had, he got a dedicated lane to where it's like drivers like that. They know when time they getting off. They know what they gonna get paid. They know what they doing every day. They know what to expect from their days of work. When you run in a load board, you don't know what to expect. It's times you'll get to a shipper or a receiver, and the broker gave you a lot of miscommunication. You might have drove 100 miles out the way to get a load that somebody already picked up, or that is not ready for a couple of days. It's a lot of different things that brokers get in the way of, and that inexperience or that incapability to do that job the correct way can cause you an inconvenience. And when you're trying to deal with a driver and your owner, I had a driver I sent to a place where the broker was wrong. He zapped out on the receipt, everybody. He zapped out on everybody. He got emotional. He tired of this shit. Excuse my language. He tired of this stuff. He don't like doing this. Blah, blah, blah. Some drivers, you got different types of drivers. You got your emotional drivers. You got your drivers that just want to compare you to big companies. You got drivers that want to be owners, want to tell you how to run your company.
Y'all hearing a lot of the same stuff being repeated.
You just got drivers that's just so much of everything. You got some drivers that's never satisfied. You got your drugs users that's like, I've had a driver, I had a dedicated contract with Costco. And I looked at him and I was just like, he kind of looked like one, but I was like, I ain't want to judge him. He was driving, he was reliable. I'm talking about he didn't have a car. He caught a hack every day and was on time, not a minute late. He jumped in my truck the first time.
Get out the gate.
I had a dedicated lane. Costco was very easy. You go to that facility, pick up a loaded trailer, take it to the store, grab it empty, come back. He's at a store for maybe 2 hours. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. So I pulls up on him. He's on the side of Walmart, sleep, mouth open, everything. So I'm just like, what's going on? He's just like, I didn't know which trailer to grab. I'm like, bro, the place right here. So that was my first sign. My second sign, he got into an accident and he lied to me about it. He said somebody hit him, but he really dozed off behind the wheel, side-swiped my truck, knocked the mirror off, lied on the people. That was another thing. And then it happened again the next day. I took him out of that truck and put him in another truck, and the same exact thing happened. So, yeah, you got all different types of drivers that just come with it. Then you got some drivers that like to run it up fast. They get their own truck. They be the most effective drivers because they got a mission.
Right.
They're gonna come. They're gonna work hard. They're gonna get what they need to get, and then they gone.
What's the newest drivers that you have? Do you do like a 6-month driver, a year driver?
I try to stay away from new drivers because new drivers are inexperienced.
What you consider new?
I just got my permit last month.
Oh, okay, all right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
So what's your minimum amount? You think that somebody would be like, oh, you know?
I try to stay at least a year or
Okay,
two,
all right.
but I've had drivers that had less than a year and had more common sense than drivers that had 10 years.
I got you.
Yeah, so I just need them to know what to expect and a breakdown, what to do. Some stuff I had to come to 3 hours away to help a driver put coolant in the truck because he didn't know how to. I had to get out my bed at 2 o'clock in the morning to drive 3 hours into Virginia to put coolant in the truck because he didn't know how to. Yeah, and it's that it kind of weighs on your mental because it's every day you live in your life, and it's you just need people to do that, come to work and just work. So I can live my life because I'm in real estate too. So I'm trying to have my trucks just run and I just focus on my real estate. I was never able to really full-fledged focus.
Are you training when your drivers? Do you ever have to train them in it?
I always train a driver because even though you know how to drive, I need you to know how to drive how I expect you to drive. Sometimes it didn't work out for me because some people got used to how they used to being trained and they take it offensive. I ran into a lot of people getting offended because I'm younger than them. And they I'm not gonna listen to this old nigga. He young and I'm this old and he gonna tell me what to do. But I don't carry people like that. I carry every man with respect until you disrespect me.
How long do you train them, brother?
I try to train them for a good, so your training process starts off at 2 weeks. So your first 2 weeks you riding with another one of my drivers, showing you what I expected. But in between that, you taking the lead role the lead role to see how they can tell you what you're doing wrong. Or they can come back and tell me, oh, he don't know how to do this, he don't know how to do that. But then, it still didn't work out for me a lot of times. So older trucks too, a lot of drivers, they used to, these big companies and they got 2020 trucks. So they got their AC work, their heat work, they radio work, they autopilot work. So if you have something like that where older trucks you might pay $5,000 to $7,000 on a truck and your heat might not work and it's cold as hell outside. some drivers just not built to jump into a cold truck. You feel me? They gonna quit on you. They gonna quit without, they not even gonna tell you that they not gonna come in the next morning. They gonna leave your truck loaded and they not coming.
Yeah, Bill. So look, with that being said, right, with the difference between these newer and the older trucks, so somebody like myself is, I've been doing this about 2 years now, right? I got a little bit of money on the side, and I'm trying to jump out there and be on the high.
Yeah.
So you got these newer trucks, they got these highest prices on it, then you got these older trucks that got highest miles on them. Where you fall at between them?
You got trucks right now. Prices of trucks have came down because I've recently just bought a truck in these prices because I've elevated from older trucks to new. Because I started off like buying old trucks because you ain't gotta worry about the DEF systems and all that stuff like that. That's preference for real. Like it's solely preference because I've had a DEF truck for about 6 months now, and it's been the most reliable truck I've had. I've had trucks that I deleted the DEF. It giving me issues. Like literally with DEF on it, it has been the most reliable truck I've had so far.
What truck is that?
It's a 2017 Freightliner. No, it's an automatic. Yeah. I got automatic because you'll easily find drivers when you got automatics. Most drivers nowadays, when they coming out of school, they don't really know how to operate a 10-speed. So you gotta worry about gears, you gotta worry about your clutch, you gotta worry about so much stuff. Control of your truck, I heard people knock my headlights out, everything, just because they can't control the stick.
That's it, you feel. So with the manual and the automatic, right? I hear what you're saying, and I talk to other drivers and so they're like, well, you gonna jump out there, everything that you said about the DEF and the party system, all that good stuff, but you gonna find a better rate, better price with these manuals opposed to automatics.
Right, it all depends on what you're looking for. Like if you buying a truck for a person to drive in, I suggest don't be cheap on that truck because he's gonna find every reason to complain about that truck. But if it's a truck that you're gonna drive, find what your preference is in that truck. Like if you're looking for power out of the truck, you're looking for fuel efficiency, like it's different stuff. Like for my older trucks, I would go, my preference on the truck is a Freightliner FLD with a Detroit engine in it, 12.7. That's my preference. That's my preference. Because the Detroit is low maintenance. If you have a problem, it's probably gonna be cheap. It's not much you have to do for it to keep it up. And the parts is always in stock. So it's just like, it's not really much to it. You ain't gotta worry about no DEF and none of that stuff like that. Yeah, something like that. That's like, you know, your preference. But like a new truck, a driver, he don't give a fuck about a Detroit. He don't care about none of that. He wanna get in the truck, he wanna be comfortable in it, he want it to be clean, for him to be sleek. You get what I'm saying? Like he don't want no dirt in there, nothing like that. He want all his windows to work, his windshield wipers to work. He want everything to work. He don't care about a engine. He don't care about no power, nothing. He just this is what he wants. He wants to come to work, do an easy job, and go to fuck home. That's all he wants. And be comfortable while he's doing it. But if you put a driver in a truck where it's like, all right, this is Mary, sometimes you gotta do it like this, and to start it up, you gotta do this, and it's gonna tick a time bomb on that driver right there. Yeah, it's gonna blow up in your face. I'm tired of this dumbass truck. You paying me this, and you ain't even paying me enough to work for this. It's always something, man.
So are your trucks regional on daily?
So that was another thing. I was doing like how Byron was doing. All my trucks was like dedicated freight. Like I've always had dedicated lanes. To where it's like I'm not even leaving out of Maryland. Before this war with politics, trucking relies on politics a lot. So when politicians make deals and stuff like that, it controls your rates. Like right now, a lot of rates I feel like rates ain't where it's supposed to be because we're in first quarter of a new year. So a lot of companies are paying big tax breaks and all that stuff like that. So they probably not putting out as much money to the broker as they would. And sometimes it's just preference on brokers. Because if you got a good relationship with one broker might give you $5 to $7 a mile. they showing you love every time they get a load. But then you got another broker that don't got no love, we don't have no relationship with you. They trying to make money. They don't care about you. They want to make money. Yeah, so that's how it is. So right now where I'm at with it, I had to call an order because I had a dry van dedicated. So I've done so much different stuff. I've done power only with Costco. I've done flatbed with another company out of Baltimore and Sparrows Point. I had dedicated freight out of there. Then I had dedicated dry van stuff with this paper company right next to the port. It's called B&E Storage. I was running their paper loads, Maryland to Maryland, heavy as hell. They was Maryland to Maryland. Yeah, so B&E Storage runs to a place called DS Smith. They inside. They like out going towards Ocean City. So they run their loads there every single day. So when I first got the contract, he came to me and said, look, I got the contract. I can give you a contract. I can give you 12 loads a day. Before I was running with a broker at $1,000 per load. Once I got with, sometimes going direct ain't always the best. Because when I went direct, he knew that the consistency was going to make me want to jump.
Yeah.
So he took advantage of the price gap and only offered me $700. I took it because he was giving me 12 loads a day at $700 a piece. That's $8,400 a day, and I'm doing it 5 days a week. So
how'd you build that relationship to get that direct?
Brokers, direct shippers, sometimes they put their loads on the load board. Because sometimes they don't like dealing with a broker. Some brokers, they're harder to deal with than actual trucking companies. So sometimes they want to build a relationship with a carrier that probably can handle their volume of work. And at the time, in the beginning, I thought I could handle the volume of work, but it was too many odds against me. Like I didn't have good enough equipment. You can't be cheap on equipment. You gotta use resources like how this gentleman is saying he's trying to find other resources that help trucking, like business credit is very big in trucking. Your credit cards and all that stuff like that, your fuel cards, very important. Sometimes, rent a vice person cashing out on a truck, I would go and lease a truck instead of like getting a truck that you got payments on or you coming out of pocket for all the expenses. Because when you have a truck where it's coming with a plan that they fix all the stuff, when your truck go down, they fixing it. Yeah. That expense is not yours, or they put you in another truck. That was one advantage that I didn't take advantage of in the beginning, and it cost me a lot of money. I've put new engines in, I put new transmissions in. I've done just about. I put new clutches in from drivers. I've took a truck and revamped the whole truck. I had a driver, and he was very reliable. He went out. I let him go off for one day because he was like a fucking workhorse. He didn't want to go home. So I was just like, bro, take a break. You know what I mean? Go home. I did not know he had a drug problem. He was smoking PCP. Oh my God. So he came back high off the PCP, and I didn't notice that I noticed he was a little off, but I didn't notice it enough to catch it. He tore my truck up. He tore that truck up. He tore 2 other trucks up, and he broke a whole landing gear on one of my trailers. In one single night, he cost me over $20,000 worth of damage.
And that compounds when you start having multiple drivers.
No, so this was me owning. So I own all my trailers.
No, he was talking about you would rather somebody lease from a company, lease a truck.
So you got leasing companies where it's like even him, he put me on with some leasing companies. This is a very resourceful brother. I'm talking about like, how some people you ask them for help and they got an ulterior motive behind it. You'll literally just want to help and want to see people be effective. So one place that he put me on with, sometimes like if your truck go down, it was this place called Cooper. They'll lease you a truck for however long you want to. You might got to fly to go pick it up or something like that, but that's an option. They got leasing companies everywhere.
You can make
You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Thanks, I appreciate you.
go ahead. You got a question?
So was you coming out of pocket or filing an insurance claim?
No, I'm coming out of pocket. So that was another thing. I ran into problems with drivers because drivers, when they destroy something, the first thing they gonna come out their mouth and say is, "That's what you got insurance for." No, it's not. That's not what I have insurance for. That's what I have a $2,000 deductible for, because anything under $2,000, I'm responsible for paying for. Sometimes it was $5,000 deductible. So anything under that, I'm responsible for paying for.
And when you do too many insurance claims, when you
You
go to
get
renew, you get they want to see your loss claims, which is everything that they had to pay for you, and your insurance will get raised.
So on that note, I've been in a bad predicament behind drivers too. I had a driver that drove a truck that wasn't safe to operate. He flipped the truck over, totaled a 2022 trailer that did not belong to me, and I lost out on the truck. I had MDE flipped it. I had MDE down my back because the material that was in the trailer was all over the ground, over top of a water source.
Who's MDE?
MDE is the Maryland Department of Environmental. They was trying to sue me for initial fine fee was $20,000, and it was, I think it was like $1,000 to $5,000 per day that I didn't clean it up, and I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I went through that when I had a bed.
Oh, yeah.
Used to blow up. So y'all, we got Ty and come on, and Ace, come on up. Thanks for coming. I appreciate these things.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So I
sit
want to
around.
talk to that broker at 4 o'clock. Y'all, we got
We might fight him. I'm just playing.
maybe. Come on, you come up, cause we're gonna have both of y'all go at the same time. Thanks.
Look, I'm getting ready to hang this shit up.
But we got a broker coming at 4 o'clock.